Good morning, everyone. Today's special Maverick Media Remembrance Day broadcast is deserved of a great deal of our respect. Remembrance Day is a day where people get together to remember the people that sacrificed their lives or continue to fight on our behalf with the goal of peace and justice in the world. Understanding that, over the next few minutes, the expectation for all of us would be that of respect for this ceremony as we remember and possibly learn from this experience. Please keep an open mind and a respectful heart. Our program today will include O Canada. Mrs. Zimmerman and the Senior Years Concert Band has put something together for us, so would everyone please remove your hats and rise. We will now like to show you a video created by the Canadian Armed Forces explaining why we recognize Remembrance Day and honor our veterans and their sacrifices. As we watch this video, the kindergarten to grade 2 classes, please watch the alternative video that was emailed to you and then rejoin this stream when it is done. Thank you.
A life in the Canadian Armed Forces, Canada's military, means a lot of different things to different people who wear the uniform. For some people, it's a way to honor those who came before, carrying the torch from generation to generation. For others, it's a chance at adventure, a way to see the world and do things that you don't get to do in any other job.
But all of us, everyone who serves our country, have one thing in common. We all want to make a difference.
As Canadian Armed Forces members, we're responsible for safeguarding Canada and the people who call this country home, and supporting our allies in good times and bad. Sometimes this means helping out after natural disasters, like big floods and forest fires. Other times it means training with our allies and partners in different countries all across the world. And sometimes when people we care about are under threat, we have to go to war to keep them safe. It can be a difficult and dangerous job, especially during wartime. But the drive to do good in the world keeps us going, even in the darkest of moments.
Veterans Week is a time to recognize the current and former Canadian Armed Forces members who selflessly devoted their lives to making the world a better place. This includes those who sacrificed so much, fighting in 2 world wars, in Korea, in Afghanistan, and in countless other dangerous missions here at home and across the globe. One way we can honor them is by sharing their stories and learning about their challenges and triumphs. So today, we would like to do just that.
The first story we want to tell you about is the Battle of Vimy Ridge. The Battle of Vimy Ridge took place in northern France in April of 1917, 105 years ago during the First World War. When the war first broke out in 1914, many Canadians joined the fight.
This was one of the first times that people from all across the country had come together on the battlefield. And one of the first times the world learned about the strength, resourcefulness, and resilience of Canadian soldiers. In 1922, the French government gave Vimy Ridge and the land surrounding it to Canada. The Vimy Memorial, unveiled in 1936, still stands to this day to honor the 11,285 Canadian soldiers killed in France who have no known graves.
The brief yet devastating Dieppe raid during the Second World War is another sobering reminder of the cost of war. Just 25 years after the Battle of Vimy Ridge, Canadian soldiers were tasked with capturing the enemy-occupied port of Dieppe in France. The Canadian raid on Dieppe on August 19, 1942 resulted in nearly 70% of these soldiers being wounded, taken prisoner, or killed. It was Canada's worst single-day loss in the Second World War.
These are stories of bravery and determination, stories that inspire us. They also remind us of the terrible cost of war. It's important to remember and honor those who sacrificed so much to build a safer world for Canadians and for people across the globe. So much of Canada's military history is defined by the incredible acts of bravery carried out across 2 world wars, in Korea, and most recently, in Afghanistan. But CAF members and veterans have done, and continue to do, so much more to keep us safe.
When natural disasters strike here at home, CAF members are called to the scene. 25 years ago, in April 1997, the province of Manitoba experienced a once-in-a-century flood from snow melting into the Red River.
CAF members from all across the country were called in to help fill sandbags, track flooding, and take care of the 25,000 people who had to leave their homes. Over the next month, 8,000 CAF members would help out before the floods finally stopped. Thanks in no small part to their hard work, everyone affected by the flooding survived.
CAF members would be called upon once again just a few months later as the ice storm of 1998 hit Ontario, Quebec, and New Brunswick. This was an even larger mission, the biggest CAF deployment ever at home, with over 16,000 members helping those in need who were without heat and electricity during those deep winter months.
These days, as a result of climate change, we're seeing Canadian Armed Forces called in to help with more and more situations like these. Like late last year in British Columbia, when severe flooding threatened people's safety and livelihood. Or at the height of the COVID-19 pandemic, when thousands of Canadian Armed Forces members helped to take care of vulnerable Canadians, like people in long-term care homes or living in remote communities.
The work we do these days doesn't just stop at Canada's borders. At any given time, there are Canadian Armed Forces members working all across the globe to make Canada and the world a safer place to live. For example, in the lead-up to the war in Ukraine, Canadian Armed Forces members helped train Ukraine's security forces so they were ready to defend their country. Over the 7 years we trained with them, we both learned a lot of important skills from each other.
We also train with militaries from other countries across Europe, like in Latvia, to become stronger and to show that we'll always be there for our friends in good times and bad. We work with the United States to stop the flow of illegal drugs across North and South America. And when needed, we deploy to help people living in dangerous conditions, like in Mali, where CAF members supported the UN peacekeeping mission following a violent uprising in that country. Or when we returned to Afghanistan last year to help people escape after their democratically elected government fell.
A life in uniform is different for every Canadian Armed Forces member. We do so many different jobs, from helping to disarm explosives, to conducting search and rescue missions, to taking care of the sick, wounded, or vulnerable. And we do this on land, at sea, or in the air, as members of the Army, Navy, or Air Force. But we're all united by one common purpose, the desire to help others and to make sure that everyone can live in a world where they are safe and free.
It really makes me proud to know I'm making a difference. And I'm so grateful every time someone says how much they appreciate the work that CAF members do, or shares their profound respect for our veterans and those who sacrifice so much to make our country what it is today. Thank you.
As we wait for the K-2 video to be completed, we will now listen to our senior year's concert band's rendition of Amazing Grace. will now ask you to stand and remove your hats as we play a video that includes the rouse, the last post, and a minute of silence. Please remain standing until the video ends and returns to me. This concludes our Remembrance Day ceremony. We would like to thank Mrs. Lauriadel for beginning the process of organizing and arranging the content of the ceremony today. Thanks to Mr. Antosky, Kyler, and Liam Wilson for their work in setting up the online execution of the ceremony. We appreciate their generosity they have shown so we could honor those who deserve to be honored. I would encourage all of you to find a Remembrance Day ceremony on Friday to attend or watch on TV with your family so you can have a great day and a great weekend, Mavericks.